Hi, I'm Danny and these are my Diecast Disasters. In this video I'm going to be restoring and customizing a bit of an odd one. This is a Zylmex or Z Toys Dyna Wheels Tornado. Now I believe these were produced around 1970. I'm assuming it's just some sort of fantasy car. But definitely a strange looking little thing. I thought there might have been something missing off of it, but no, this is just how it was. So it looks like it's seen a fair bit of action over the years. We'll take it off the turntable and have a closer look at it. A pretty worn out paint job there and missing probably half its chrome. It's got those quite unique wheels on it there. Well, they're a bit worse for wears. Metal base. That is really worn and scraped. It's got a little interior in it, so it's a bit of detail. And luckily that round windscreen's not broken. So we'll crack on and take it apart. You can see the posts are outies, so I'm just going to start with a round burr on my rotary tool, and then once I've made a little dent there I can use it to guide my drill and I can drill them out. And then I can pop off the base there. Out come the wheels as well. Some old carpet from the 70s. Here's the little interior and the windscreen. And then it's got these three little chrome plastic details here. Just pry off the front one there. And the motor's got a melted over plastic post, so I'll just cut that off with my craft knife. And then the luggage rack or whatever it is also had sort of melted over posts, so I just popped them out with this little tool. So now with it apart, I can use some paint stripper to remove the paint from the castings. And then I get a clean up with a wire wheel on my rotary tool. I'll get rid of any of the paint that was still on there and the oxidation from all over them. You can see I've worn the bases there. The wire wheel wasn't totally cutting it with the base. I also used a bit of sandpaper, then went back to the wire wheel, and this is how it came out. It's nice and clean now. There's a bit of a pitting, but I don't think that's much of a problem. Taking a look at the body after burnishing, you can see it's still pretty rough. I don't know if it's a rough casting or there's been some sort of corrosion. Anyway, I give it a good going over with some sandpaper. And then this front end here was a little bit bent. Just straighten that up with some pliers. And then I used my needle file and then a little bit of sandpaper to clean that up. So there's our car body, looking a little bit less rough and ready for some paint. Going back to the base now, I start out painting that with some black primer. And then I finished it with steel. The car body was given a coat of black primer. And then I've decided I'm going to do a candy yellow on this car. So I start out with a coat of aluminium. And then it was given 4 coats of Vallejo candy yellow. I wanted to put some little white stripes on it, so I've got some decal paper here and I've painted red. So I'm going to flip it over and use my ruler to mark out some stripes to cut out. Then I'll cut them out with my craft knife and then I can apply them to the car. So the parts where I'm adding them, I've got those little lines in them, gruel sort of lines, and I want the decals to go into them. So I'm going to use a couple of applications of Microsol. And then finally, when I was happy with that, I detailed the headlights and the rear lights, and then I gave it all a couple of coats of gloss. To be honest, I don't know if it really had tail lights and headlights, but I detailed something in there. So I'm going to move on to some plastic parts now. Here are those 3 little tiny chrome details. I'm going to use some hot water and caustic soda to remove the chrome from them. And here they are after a rinse. You can see all the chrome's gone off of there and they're ready for a nice fresh paint job. So you can see there's nothing to hold onto them with. I'm going to use some cocktail sticks with a little bit of blue tack on them and just stick my pieces on there. Then I hit them with some black primer. And then finish them with chrome. Here is the interior. It's pretty grubby, so the first thing I'm going to have to do with that is give it a good wash. There we go, it's looking a lot cleaner. Next I hit it with some grey primer. And then I finished it with a pretty classic black and red interior. Onto the windscreen next. Thankfully there's no cracks in that, it's just a little bit scuffed. Let's give it the edges a little bit of a clean up with my craft knife here as they were a bit messy. Then it was given a really thorough polish with some plastic polish. And this was how it came out. I think that's looking pretty nice and shiny now. And then finally, here are grubby old looking Dyna wheels. There's somebody's orange carpet straight out of the 70s. Well, I'm not going to be reusing them much as they're quite unique. I've got these nice aftermarket alloy wheels here. So there we go, that's all the hard work out of the way, and here are all the parts of our little Zylmex Z Toys Dyna wheels Tornado, refurbished, repainted and ready to go back together. So while I'm reassembling that, let's just have a look back and be reminded of what we started with. And here it is looking a right mess, chipped and grubby. Missing its chrome there, the windscreen's so scuffed you can't really see through it. It's an odd little beast. You can almost stick a deck on the back and call it a ute. And even though it's a wee bit odd, it's still a cool old little car, and it's all there, and a great candidate for a custom resto. So let's see what we can do with it. And here it is, our finished, restored and customized Zylmex Dyna wheels Tornado, straight from the 70s. Been stripped down, tidied up, repainted in a pretty similar colour actually, except that it's a nice candy now. It's given some nice white stripes there. The chrome parts have been refurbished, re-chromed. It's had that interior detailed and the windscreen's polished up so you can see the interior. And finally it's got those nice new aftermarket wheels on it. So whilst I must say it's maybe not the coolest looking car ever, I think it's definitely made a great comeback. Looking nice and tidy again with those new wheels. And I really like how that candy yellow came out. So you can let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Did you used to own one as a kid? I think there might have been a few more sort of these fantasy cars that came out with it at the same time. Maybe they sold them in a set or something, I'm not sure. There wasn't a whole heap of info available on them. So if anyone knows some more info, it'd be great to find out. Thanks heaps to everyone for supporting the channel. Extra special thanks as always to my awesome Patreon supporters. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks. If you'd like to help out as well, you can check out my Patreon page. There's a link in the description down below. Thanks heaps for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did and you'd like to see more similar stuff, remember to subscribe and click the bell. Give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.